Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to a meeting of the Town of Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. This is Wednesday, August 27th, and the time is now 6:35. We do have a quorum, so I like to call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from the July 28th, 2025 meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
There's a motion to approve the minutes. I will step down in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's a vote. Moving through the agenda, then next we have an administrative update. Robin?
I think I have an abatement request.
Okay.
Oh. Actually, it's not complete. This is we had a gentleman whose pool was leaking and he had to keep refilling it. And he wanted to speak to the superintendent who advised him that, because I told him we don't do that. He wanted to speak to the superintendent who told him he would have to write a letter and come before the board, and I haven't heard from him yet.
Okay.
So that's still pending.
Okay.
The next item is I do have a drain layer.
Okay.
He's new, New England Style Inc., and he paid everything, and all of his paperwork was in order, and the superintendent checked his references, which all came back in order, and it's New England Style Inc., so he was requesting to be granted a license, a drain layer license.
They're the drain layer for the Holy Family School project.
Thank you.
But everything is in order. You mentioned, Robin.
Yes.
References all came back great.
Perfect. What I would entertain a motion to approve the license for New England Style for drain layer license.
I'll make a motion to approve the license.
And I will step down and second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, that's I can just going back to the pool abatement. I think with this, even if we do have requests, we really have to keep things consistent. We had a request here a few months ago, and I just want to be mindful of the consistency that we need to approach on that. If and when we do receive an request.
Agreed.
I told the gentleman it would be more perceived as like an appeal process, because we normally wouldn't for something in that situation. Where we obviously we've run into it before, and the irrigation and the pool filling.
No, and I agree that we have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he just wasn't having it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Just really moving through the agenda, we have a superintendent hiring update. Matt, you've been kind of our point through this whole process. If you want to begin, by giving us kind of an update and the public an update, and kind of where we are, what challenges we're facing, and then we can have a broader discussion about how we go forward.
So we've had a few candidates come through. A couple of them were decent candidates. Most of the candidates we've interviewed have been good interviews. Two of them have left us for other opportunities or chose not to stay with Rockland. We've looked at other candidates now that did not meet the original qualifications, and that's what we're bringing back to have this discussion. We had looked at the superintendent's job description, and I think that's where we really need to discuss going forward, as if there's any flexibility in that job description, or do we look at different avenues of how to get the appropriate candidate.
Yeah. Do you have any overarching? Do you have any overarching thoughts or?
I mean, at the end of the day, looking through the job description itself, there's nothing that I could see that we could take off of that job description that would make sense. I mean, the job is what it is. It's a one-man crew.
Yep.
So you would need somebody to be able to meet all those needs. What we're running into is, I don't think there's going to be a candidate out there at the compensation we're offering. I think that's one of the issues we may run into, because we're looking for somebody who's doing a dual job.
yeah, like like we're looking really for like a genie in the bottle, who is a jack of all trades in terms of the boots on the ground, but also the technical experience, the the regulation experience, the certification experience, the procurement experience.
And the political savvy.
Yes,
I'm
and
not asking for much.
I'm like, it's like I mean,
Yeah.
like in their help and really trying, like I mean, like we've been operating like amazingly in the interim, but we really haven't had a true permanent leader of the department that lasted longer than a day. I mean, I'm exaggerating here, but probably 5 years or so. I mean, has it been how long?
I've
How
been here
long?
for 6 years, and John Laughlin
Right.
went out 5 weeks after I got here.
Right, and
So-
then,
So 6 years.
so you've had,
It's almost 7 years, actually. I got
right,
here in
that
19.
Keith was 5 months, and then Mike Buckley was 5 months.
Mm.
Yeah, but I mean, what, whoever walks in here to be the new superintendent, what they'll have to inherit, well, first of all, they'll inherit a great structure that exists.
Agreed.
And like in a great structure that exists because Dave and Robin and Megan have really helped to catch us up, where like a whole host of balls have been dropped in the past. But we still have the demands of an administrative order that we have to comply with, of which the EPA, like is regularly looking at how we're dealing with it, how the leadership here is also structured. That's a huge consideration as well. Plus we have the beginning of phase one, which is likely about like probably $35 million project, that also has a real possibility and hope to translate in to like a much more expensive project beyond that. And like I mean again, like when we went back out to the market and posted in January of 2025, we've had this posting out for really 8 months now.
Correct.
And we've had a range we posted at, that range is between $100,000 and $115,000. Based on everything we're looking for, with all the complexities and everything else in the certifications, the technical experience, like for 100 to 115,000, I work in this world as well. What we're asking for is almost the impossible,
Correct.
in my opinion.
I would agree with that.
And we've tried to, in my opinion, keep this whole thing alive, because we've had to your point, we have had some really good, credible candidates.
Yep.
But in my opinion, like the seriousness of what this moment really demands, I'm in agreement, Matt. Like I did also look at the job description to see, if we could tweak anything. Get to water down qualifications, or to look at what qualifications we're actually asking for, and if we had the ability to, to have more flexibility. And and I really don't think we have that opportunity right now.
Agreed. Not as currently situated right now.
So, which really brings us to the salary range to see, do we have an ability to take the existing structure of the job description, which we have, and I think is frankly really well done, again, like in a month and a half, 2 months from now, we might be back, to the same exact place, and and if we're back to the same exact place, say 2 months from now, I would argue we have bigger structural issues we really need to begin looking at that point.
Agreed.
But I don't. But I also don't. Think we. we would do, I think we would do a disservice to the whole department if we didn't look like at updating our hiring range.
I would agree.
Uh,
What that range would be, it'd be a discussion we need to have.
Yeah. Well, Dave, you've been like a huge part of this process as well. Do you have any thoughts? Or, yeah, like I wanna highlight what kind of you're seeing that the challenges are and how we go forward from there as well.
No, I think you guys are moving on the right track. I think you could evaluate, I think the job description is what the job description is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could, you could up the salary, to commensurate with experience. Maybe that range, is a little bit more, 110 to 140 or plus or minus, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people look at that right off the bat.
Agreed.
If you're on the MMA site,
Yeah.
or any of the hiring sites. So, and then I know we've had the discussion before, maybe at the same time you look at, hiring a person, even if it's somebody,
Mm-hmm.
at a collection staff at some point, as a perk for that superintendent and help out with some of the more, day-to-day tasks and then maybe at some point you look at maybe taking some of those tasks off of Veolia's contract,
Mm-hmm.
whether it even like dig saves, they could do the IPP, that the superintendent's doing now, like grease trap inspections.
Yeah.
Even just having somebody out in the field on maybe some of the maintenance projects that we have starting up at night, you know what I mean? And, when the superintendent wants to go out at that point, he can.
Yep.
It's more of an option for him, so maybe that makes it a little bit more attractive at that, we've looked at.
Like, and sustainable
Right.
as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you take that as an option for the superintendent and he's going out to, pop a manhole or look at this just to periodically, keep up with things, and then you have a staff member at, maybe a little higher than like a laborer's type spot, and have him go out and get collections licensure,
Mm-hmm.
if he already doesn't have it. Then those two would kind of coincide, and you could maybe run that employee also over the open drainage, R&M, I&I. They could split the budgetary aspects that way, so it's not just that. And then you have another town employee here too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that might make it more attractive for somebody coming in. I mean, I know with some of those interviews, they were a little horrified.
Yeah.
If they're coming from a staff of 10 or even 5, and you're coming in and you're
You're right.
thinking, you're used to doing just all the paperwork aspects, the regulatory, and then you're popping manholes or going to look at a grease trap at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not
It's literally
exactly
on call.
appetizing
And
at
no
that
help. I mean, the
24/7,
Violi is
365.
here. Yeah.
point. Right, which most municipal jobs are anyways.
No,
at that-
I agree.
when you're out there. And
I mean, but not to have like any type of dedicated town backup. Like Violi is here, like, and Violi has
Right.
been great, but
Right,
I mean, we don't have any other type of personnel infrastructure that exists
Right.
for that person. Again, I agree that maybe like we proceed on this really as like a 2-track. We update the salary range here,
yeah,
and like we begin working on a job description. Like and just really confirming the revenue piece. That we have an ability to restructure in that way.
right,
And like I think as we move forward, and hopefully a more successful process with hiring a superintendent, that would be something we can mention and say we're in this process now of addressing this other challenge that we don't want you to have to be burdened with, frankly, at all. Like, I mean, there's gonna be a burden because it's a high responsibility, high pressure job. That really comes with the
I
territory.
can't take that away from you.
Yeah, like that comes with the territory. That's what whoever is gonna do this has signed up for, and in a way, in our own jobs, that's what we all sign up for to begin with. So, but to have a little bit of help there, I think is hugely like that. Yeah, I really do think it helps us, the whole narrative in giving the role of the structure that we need to have.
Right, we'd have to still explain to them that for the first year, until we figure out that position, they would be their one person until we get that position up and running. That would not happen overnight.
Right, but they could be
An integral part of
an
designing
integral
that.
part
And help build
of
it.
No.
designing
Yeah.
that position.
No, absolutely.
Right,
Which would be enticing to the right person.
yeah, we think so. I mean, the job as it is set right now is archaic. It's
It
just not,
really,
we're
the whole,
beyond all
so
that.
many things in this town are
Right,
archaic.
but-
I mean,
So you know, if you add that, and then it's even like on calls, like if we get a sewer emergency at night, it goes to Megan right now. Do you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
she has to dispatch her employees, so maybe that is, you know, maybe it comes over to that collections person.
Yep.
And then they, you know, if it's an issue, then they reach out to Veolia, say, we would need some assistance on this.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But, you know, I think it would be good, because the two would be, you'd work that in, and you'd have an employee which would assist in some of those regular, everyday tasks.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then it does become a more attractive position. When you're dealing with managerial aspects, you're working with the OPMs, you're working with Veolia, upper management, and then
Yep.
you're, you know,
Then you're knee deep in a grease trap.
right, as opposed to, you know, starting your day at, you know, at the Greek House Pizza Grease Trap, so,
Right.
yeah. So,
Right, I just.
it's a real life example.
Yeah.
yeah, that was last week.
No, that's the reality
Yeah.
of it, is that you're literally going from a grease trap to a boardroom, and like, they expect to act like everything's normal here.
Right,
I mean, able to handle all of it with yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, so I think you know, maybe you could restructure that a little bit in that aspect.
I agree.
Based on Dave's recommendation, I really do think an updated range that would go from 110K to 140,000 plus or minus, depending on qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would have some flexibility, and I honestly think be able to attract some, attract the type of superintendent we're looking for based on the qualifications.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, you could get, if you have that, and then you have that at 140 plus or minus at that back end,
We
you
still
could
some
have a
flexibility.
perfect candidate come in and say, I know you had it maxed out at 140, but if you could get it up to this point,
Mhm.
then it would be worth me coming over, and that could be the perfect candidate. You know,
Like
somebody
if the
that's gonna walk
qualifications
in,
align,
right,
yeah,
everything.
yep.
They've done it before, and then, and you could get somebody like that, maybe it becomes more attractive at that point, I don't know.
I would agree.
Because I guess the way we're doing it right now, and the salaries, I mean,
We've been doing it for 8 months. And
Yeah,
I've
even before that.
interviewed a total of 4 people.
right,
And again, they've been 4 good candidates. I'm not complaining about one of them.
right,
Yep.
But it's been a slow, arduous process.
Yeah, but I think, I also think this foundation of a range between 110 and 115 that we've been working with, that's also probably based on archaic information at this point
Right.
too.
Right.
It's not based on any. I was hopeful just because again, we walked into this whole thing last October. We wanted to get our job posting, job description out the door.
Correct.
Quickly, it was easier at that point to work with the structure that we had. But I also think the more we dig into this, the more I'm convinced is that just that range was, it's not reflective of the market that exists right now.
Not for the job we're asking people to do.
and just keep in mind, so that it was a budgetary line item
Yes.
that we've had, I think we increased that.
By $5,000, I want to say.
Yeah, last year it was 5 or 10 to 120, where it was 110, I
Right.
think. a
So
few
we'll have to
years
move
ago.
some things.
Right,
Yeah.
But I can tell you, 9 years ago, that job was paying $100,000, 9 years ago.
right,
And we were at 110, 115.
right,
Yeah.
It's just not realistic.
yeah,
We do have about 2 of that line item. We have not used that money for the first 5 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
So again, for the first of the year to be paid for this year, it'd be a line item for next year we have to deal with.
You would, that's
Yeah,
what I was,
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
We'd be covered for this fiscal year no matter what.
you would be fine,
Right,
yeah,
next
as
year,
you move forward, cause
Yeah,
in all
Dave's been
reality,
volunteering anyway, so
Agreed.
that helps the
it's
bottom
great,
line.
great guy.
I'm just happy to be here.
He's got really nothing else going on.
No, there's nothing.
Yeah, no, but yeah, that's a perfect point, Robin, too. I mean, we've been operating at this structure for 9 years, that doesn't, that doesn't even deal with the inflation, never mind the market.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Um,
So I would leave that 110 to 140 plus or minus,
okay.
based upon experience would be a smart move.
Do I hear that in the form of a motion, Matt?
That's a motion.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed the motion.
A motion to increase the salary range from 110 to 140 plus or minus depending on experience
Qualifications.
and qualifications.
And I will step down and second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks,
You.
Matt, for
Thank you.
leading this whole thing. So, yeah, like we went through the process, the review of the job description. We did talk about next steps generally, but I mean, just generally in terms of the process, I think it could be helpful. Yeah, once it is reposted, maybe. Maybe by like November-ish to really like check in again, to see what type of interest we received at this point, like at that point, and if, and whether or not, after that point, we either have somebody or at that point we may be aware of, of a bigger structural issue with regards to the position that may be impacting this whole thing as well. That's just a hypothetical at this point. I'm hoping to God that this updated range helps and we can get get someone in here who really fits. But segueing in until we get there, as I mentioned, like we do, and we've been blessed in my opinion to have the foundation with our Dave, Robin, and Megan that we do. But Dave's like initial interim superintendent, he was initially, he was initially approved by this board, to I think like last November to serve until the end of FY25. Then the first part of July we we extended it for like another month to be able to have like a more formal discussion tonight. I like in my opinion, like we need Dave really more than ever right now. And I also think when hopefully we are able to hire someone, we will need him as well to provide a lot of to provide a ton of help in the transition as well. So it's now the end of August. Practically speaking, I wouldn't anticipate us really like doing anything. Really like anything short if Dave is agreeable. Then the end of February, just really to have like know we have the stability we need for that amount of time, and then based on where we are at that point, or based on where we are close to getting to that point, we can always have an ability to update or to kind of reassess where we are. But really again, to give Dave the ability to plan and hopefully have the clarity that you want and need. Would you be agreeable to the end of February, like at this point, or what are you thinking? I mean, like I really like should have asked
I
whether
would
you'd be
go by what
agreeable
you-
to
Whatever
anything
you guys think.
at all.
I mean, if you were able to get a candidate, if you restructure that and you have that change, that's gonna take a few weeks, and if you ever could get a candidate, say October, November, December, yeah, you'd be looking about February.
You know, having some onboarding help, having some transition help. I mean, like just like your knowledge of everything and all the infrastructure here in town is immense. And I think if we were and if we are able to hire, we'd be doing that. Whoever we hire like also a disservice if we didn't include and build in some type of big transition to frankly help all of us.
Agreed, especially getting the budget ready for the following year as well.
Yeah, like we'll be
So
knee
there'll-
deep in
there'll
that
be
the
a lot of-
FY27
Yeah,
process
we'll
too.
be right in the middle of that.
Correct.
Alright, so we have the IPP October, and we have that semi-annual in November, and then right after that, you start the budgetary for the next
Correct.
fiscal, which is due in January. So articles February, so.
So I would think end of February would be the minimum.
I agree. Is that agreeable to you?
Absolutely, yeah. it's
I mean, again, like it's easy for us to talk about this, but like you're the one really doing the work and like and
Correct.
living this
No, I think,
at 5 a.m. on the weekends, and no one. There's a lot of people, like in this town who don't have a clue about that, or if they do have a clue, it's extremely easy to. It's extremely easy to twist, and I'm speaking for all of us. We're grateful, absolutely grateful for everything you do for us and for the entire town.
I think we're in a good spot right now. So if we happen to get somebody, I think, coming through the door, they're in a lot better shape right now. I think we're caught up with just about everything, a few little surprises that I'll go over in the report, but it's minor compared to where we were months ago, I believe. Don't you think, Robin?
I definitely think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, even with Meg, I mean, I think we've got a good rapport with all our engineering groups, because most of them have been here the 3 times that I've been here anyway, so, besides DPC, and I think that's working out pretty good right now, and Weston and Sampson, we've got a good relationship with, and Wright Pierce as well, so I think we're in a good spot, so. And then, as far as submittals, I think we're all caught up on the submittals and all the regulatory aspects right now. So, we cleaned up the semi-annual, and that's pretty clean now, it's just pretty much, plug in, and that's it, we're in pretty good shape. Caught up with the IPP report. I can't think of anything else, really. We're in a pretty good spot,
Well, thank you.
Yep.
So take that in form of a motion.
And make a motion to extend David's interim contract to the end of February.
And I will, February 26th at that point, and I will step down and second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah, that's a vote, sorry. I was gonna vote and then re-vote, but that's just maybe me. Okay. Superintendent update.
So I brought up the DPC and Wright Pierce update, but it's kind of a redundant as you go into the owner project manager, but, so we've had our 3rd meeting today, so we schedule them, every Wednesday.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have one live one where they can come in and we can do we'll meet in person, and then at some point, once they get caught up, so DPC's been going through all the preliminary design reports, getting caught up on that. Trying to think of anything else major we've been talking about, been going through the drawings. I think there's gonna be a couple modifications on the roof design, some window aspects so we can gain some more wall space in the mechanical room.
Okay.
We're still a couple gray areas whether we need to do fire suppression, so once we get closer to the final designs, we'll kick that over to Fire reached out to the plumbing inspector, no need for a bathroom where it's just gonna be
Okay.
mostly mechanical room at that point, so that will save us some money at that point. The one big aspect that I brought up today was the funding aspect, so I did reach out to Wright Pierce on an analysis so we can know where we're gonna be on the cost and where we need our funding,
Like a cash flow.
our cash flow analysis, thank you. And then, so Wright Pierce will have that for us tomorrow, we've been tightening it up. Moving forward after this, our OPM will be handling it.
Okay.
So we'll be segueing that over to DPC.
Okay.
Just makes more sense where they're, to be, they're there for the town.
Mm-hmm.
But, looking at that timeline, task 1 through 6, which we have the initial contract with DPC, that gets us to about July. So we'll have some partial submittals in October,
Okay.
and we're gonna keep that going. As you know, we do have 2 going with the DEP right now for the submittals.
Like a 2-track.
Right,
Yep.
2-track, just to cover us.
Yep.
And, DPC and both Wright Pierce are on board with that. Like we talked about before, the timeline before wasn't realistic. By the
Yeah.
time you get done with a preliminary design reports, getting into the design, getting into construction, you're still looking at the timeline that we have now.
Yep.
So the more realistic aspect is most of those submittals will be done before July of next year. And that'll get you through task 1 through 6. And then after that point, we're into the, pre-construction stages at that point.
Okay.
So we just need to know as far as cash flow, that we have enough money from our $1 million ARPA and 1.5 on the bond, that we have enough to get us to that July, which I believe we do, but we just need, DPC's gonna give us their take on it, Wright Pierce is gonna give us their take on it, and then at least I could submit that, finance, the town accountant,
Yep.
the town treasurer, Doug, they're gonna meet tomorrow night, I'll have that there for that meeting.
Okay.
So we don't get into where we are now.
Yep.
We're at the point where we're using some of that money that we allotted for that first loan,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of that we were paying interest payments on a loan that we weren't drawing off of. So
And
we
that's
were
where arbitrage and everything kicks in.
premature, so you're
Yep.
paying on loan payments where we weren't drawing on it yet. So we wanna make sure we're not at that point.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Makes perfect
Yeah,
right.
sense.
Right?
Right,
Especially if the next one is 12
Yep.
12 million, 12.5. Like, we don't wanna be paying interest payments on that until we need it.
Yeah.
So, alright, we're in pretty good shape, obviously, we had to go up, on the rates, and that covers a lot of that, so.
The 2-track process, are we still? I mean, like, it's the 2-track, it's probably still way too early to tell what.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think DPC is already done preliminary reach outs to DEP,
Okay.
so, which is what we want.
Yep. No, that's.
And then, like I said, we're gonna do submittals as much as we possibly can on the technical aspects. So, cause I wanna see a lot of that
Yep.
up front, where
Yep.
we are in design.
Yep.
And we, all the technical data. And then at that point, we'll submit as much as we can, and then we'll keep submitting. It won't just be, we won't wait till right before July, we'll keep submitting
Okay. So
at that
that's-
point.
Okay.
So, like our conversation, as long as we're
open
keeping the ball
communication,
rolling,
correct.
They
You
know
know.
where we're at.
Right,
no
there's no surprises,
Yeah.
no, they're not worried about.
Yep.
we did our DEP submittals on time, before July.
Yep.
So they already know, we already have that money earmarked, we gave them the dates, the town vote,
Yep.
at the town meetings, the original,
Yep.
the last one we just did, so, we have, 35 million earmarked for that, the town has already approved it.
Yep.
So obviously, we're way ahead than anybody else is,
Correct.
Yep.
so,
Okay.
so we're in a good spot.
Yeah, and I know of other towns that are
That's not the process.
well, they're either doing that or they're having to scramble to have a special town meeting just to keep
Rolling.
rolling through the processes
Yeah.
as well. And we've thankfully I've already upfronted
Yeah.
a lot of that, so.
Yeah, it's all there, it's already been set, so the funding is there for us, so we're in a good spot.
Okay, well, thank you,
Yeah.
Dave.
So that's mostly it on that, miscellaneous, I know Megan and I have been working on, with Veolia on, upgrading some of the pump stations, so we got, I'm gonna let Megan touch base on that, but we've been doing a lot of that. Forest Street's been the main one right now, to get that upgraded, and then, we're doing some regular just maintenance to those pump stations, and then I know I've talked about it in the past, but we're going to be starting our, nighttime maintenance again, one night a week, maybe 2 nights, before it gets too cold, and we're gonna pick up where we left off. We had a lot of things going on to this point, and then, we're, getting on those maintenance things, and then we've been working with Weston and Sampson on some of those smaller projects, Center Ave, Goddard Ave, the metering on Concord Street, so those things will start kicking in, and then the rehab work too for the INI, which obviously EPA and DEP wanna see us progressing with that, so that's starting to,
Okay.
so.
Have a, just like a completely random question, but like ADUs, has anything evolved on that?
Yeah,
Topic.
Robin's been printing up a lot of it, cause she has a real estate background.
Yep.
So we've been going through a lot of that. We're gonna come up with a preliminary on it, and then
Okay.
I think it makes sense, and we'll bring in something, what other towns are doing.
Yeah.
And then what we think we should do, only because we have a good basis on it, because people are adding, bedrooms.
Yeah.
Or adding 2 bedrooms, and they're under that, the 4-bedroom, rule with the DEP,
Yeah.
so that has been open with residents,
Mm-hmm.
for as long as we both been here. So we wanna keep that open, and then, you're gonna be dealing with certain aspects of that, like maybe it's a detached, and then
That's
you're gonna
where,
have,
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna be able to use some of that, that initial infrastructure plumbing to tie into that. Like, you're gonna have to come out, there might have to be a change in direction sewer manhole, and then that goes out, and that's shared between the ADU, so there's gonna be a lot of that you're gonna have to look at on how you want that designed, where if they're attaching an ADU,
That's way more
they can,
straightforward.
right, it's a little bit more straightforward, they can do, they can add a clean out, there's a Y there, well, it's just, it'll be a little easier, but then you gotta look at it, like, how are you gonna do a fee schedule on that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they have 2 bedrooms and they're adding 2 bedrooms for an ADU attached for like an in-law, you're looking at it differently than an ADU where a house has 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms and they're adding an ADU in the backyard and that's coming out. So we're considering it as like new development at that point, because you could use that as a rental at some point down the road. So,
Okay.
and then new development, you're dealing with moratoriums, you're dealing with
Yeah.
DP, you're dealing with INI, so there's
Do
a
we
lot,
make- Do we make people put in their own stub?
right,
It's a separate unit, or do
Right.
they tie in through the existing house
yeah.
into the stub? Like,
So
things like
or
that.
you share the sub and you do, what we've done on some smaller projects where there's a shared manhole, and then there need to be an easement, coming out to the street, so there is gonna be a lot, and it's gonna be on a case-by-case basis, but you need to make
Every
sure we have
property's
all
so
our,
different, the
ducks in a
geography,
row.
We just gotta make sure we're
engineering.
consistent, we just gotta make sure we're consistent,
Right,
at the end of the
yeah.
day, we just gotta make sure we're upfront and consistent
Right.
with everything we do.
which I think we can, because we've been doing it along with smaller projects,
Mhm.
and then also with bedrooms, but you're gonna need to set that specifically for ADUs, and and
Attached
it
versus
could be
detached.
something that's gonna be tweaked, like, you might have to tweak it as you go along,
Oh,
but you
yeah,
can set
yeah.
forth a certain dynamic for it, and a fee schedule, and then, that shouldn't be a problem for us to keep in, cause we kinda doing it now,
Right.
so,
Right,
but,
but this could be an opportunity too, to make homeowners inspect their laterals,
right,
especially if we're gonna make them tie into that existing lateral and use the existing stub.
yeah.
You know how you had been speaking about that before?
Yeah, and I think it's something that's gonna, at the same time, maybe that's a specification we bring up at the same time, like when somebody's doing they're taking over a property and it's gonna be a turnover, a flip, or they're gonna use it for a rental, at that time, you know, you'll need to know what type of infrastructure they have there, because we've run into some certain dynamics, like off of Union Street or some of the older infrastructure where there's literally two houses and they're two different owners and they're sharing the same the sewer laterals. So we've run into it, like some pretty funky stuff. And so we wanna, it's not fair, like if somebody's gonna get that and they're gonna flip it and then a new homeowner comes in and then they find out 5 years down the road, they're not tied in right. So we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we left that off the table at the same time. So we'd like to segue the two together, so you're changing a sewer lateral inspection spec a little bit, where maybe, you know, has to, and it might be something we can help out with, like we have a camera, and, or maybe it's not, so I'm gonna leave it up to the board, we'll come up with some specs and present it, and we'll kinda go from there. But it's in front of us now, like people are coming in, we wanna do an ADU, and, you know, I think it's calmed a lot of people down, because you've seen like the costs that are involved in it, so, you know, you're putting up a mini house.
Emphasis, like the priority, like is it? I would imagine the priority is having an attached ADU. That's where people would probably want to begin. But I don't have any idea.
I mean, that's easier.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have the space for it.
Yep.
And then, you know, we've had a lot of people approach us on detached, on how we do, and I said, we'll have to look at what we wanna do. I mean, you would probably have to do like I said, a change in the direction manhole, and then you really don't want to be cutting into a sewer pipe if we don't have to. It's like the last case scenario,
Right.
you know?
Why add an extra hole with I&I if you don't have to?
Right, but you also can design it to make sure there's just somebody out there and make sure it's done right. You know, we've done, like, even on like the school projects, there's been some like doghouse manholes added, you know, where you can control that I&I. You go a little overkill on the design, make their engineers come up with a, you know, non-permeable structure that's over, you know, so we're not cutting into like the more we're cutting into pipes, the worse, right? I mean, put it this way, we're looking at the 30-inch trunk line that's coming into from Concord Street, because it's been cut into so many times. We believe there's a high, you know, you have a lot of infiltration there, so that's just an example of it. So yeah, I mean, that's something we need to get progressive on, you know, so.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I have, so.
Any other questions, Matt?
No.
Megan?
Okay. Our total monthly flow for July was 48 million gallons. Average flow for July was 1.6 million gallons per day. Well under our 2.5, so. Total rainfall was only 5 inches for the month. Phosphorus, just an update, because our permit is 0.1 right now. So we are meeting that, which is wonderful, so. Solids and sludge removal. Our Belts filter press ran a total of 88 hours. 293,000 gallons ran through this process, removing 138 wet tons of sludge that was hauled out from this facility. Employee status, we just hired a new employee. There's one more position to fill. We have a possible candidate for this position. The person we're looking for is someone who does operations, but is well educated on the maintenance aspects. So that will really help us out a lot. We have also had other plants who Veolia runs. They've been here to assist us. They've been a huge help. Right now we have a maintenance guy from a neighboring plant that comes and helps us out on different maintenance needs that we need done. So for this month, we lost the gear and motor drive for the belt filter press, which we had it shut down for a day. So we were able to actually install that gear and motor box in-house, and that maintenance person I was just talking about, he was there to assist as well. So that was taken care of. All our portable generators were also serviced by the same gentleman. So they're up and running. So they needed some kind of attention, but he was able to get 2 out of the 3 running. The third one he's having issues with, but at least we have 2 to actually go out there in case we have issues with our stations.
Okay.
Our VFD, which is variable frequency drive, number 2 for our influent pump, that's what we use to control the influent pump, was replaced by electricians that were sent out by other neighboring, a neighbor facility run by Veolia. So we've been saving some kind of money by using other people's electricians that are in-house. Spruce Street Station had communication failures that just kept coming in, so we ended up getting the modem for the SCADA system. That ended up getting replaced, so now it's no issues, it's up and running, so that's good to go. Also, I was out on vacation, and during this time we had a senior member from the company who has many years' experience. He walked around to inspect and audit the stations and the plants. He was just here just to kind of give second pair of eyes, just to look at any repairs or things that needed to better the equipment, or just kind of tell us what he thought we may need at this facility or the stations. And he has a list that I think I still have to give to you, but I was kind of reviewing it before I handed it to you. But yeah, he's full of knowledge and good advice on his part, so very useful. And then the other thing is 4th Street Station. This is until next week. Tuesday and Wednesday, IPS, the company, is coming in to replace the electrical box. So that's the start of the rehab of 4th Street, so good, should be good. And that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you for just leading the way and really playing catch up.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm just happy things are getting done, and
Agreed.
everything seems to be breaking at once, but we're tackling it, so,
That's the way life goes.
yeah.
No, thank you. It's, okay. With that being said, always the best part of the agenda, future upcoming meetings.
My schedule's relatively flexible.
Do we want to just? I mean, we've been on a pretty good roll of having the last Monday of the month,
I'm fine with that.
so that would bring us to. We're actually, and there's 5 Mondays in September.
It's gonna be like September 29th.
Yeah, it's September 29th. What is that? Yeah, is that too long or?
No, we should have a pretty good update from our OPM too at that point too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, September 29th work for you?
Now I'll reach out to Laurie about the update and the salary.
Yeah, that's perfect. And just has a repost everywhere. Just treat it as a whole, update a new posting, and hopefully we get
What day is that?
Monday, the
Okay.
29th. Is that okay?
Oh, that's
You wanna
perfect.
do 6:30 still?
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
I mean,
I won't be able to make it, but I can do the minutes from the
video, okay. Is that okay with you?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, would it be, I don't know why I had to open Pandora's box, but with the 22nd, could that be any better?
It doesn't matter to me, I can do it either way, from
It'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
the 29th is fine.
okay. So 29th at 6:30. With that being said, any other business, questions, issues, anything? Okay. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
and I will step down second. Time is now 7:24, and we're adjourned. Oh, we should vote, just wait till you, man. Adjourned, sorry. I don't think we actually voted. We did. Thank you.